Hi everyone, I'm Emma. Welcome back to our channel. I'm so happy you're here today. How are you? I hope you're feeling great. Today I have something very special for you. We will learn 100 useful English phrases. These are phrases you can use every day. They will help you talk with friends, family, or new people. And they will make your English sound natural and easy. I know learning English can be hard. Sometimes we don't know what to say in real life. But don't worry. I'm here to help. I will explain each phrase. I will tell you what it means and how to use it. I will also give you examples. Imagine we are friends and just chatting. This way you will remember the phrases better. Before we start, please do me a favor. If you like this video, please press the like button. It helps me a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We make new videos every day to help you learn English. Okay, let's get started. Imagine you wake up in the morning. You go to school or work. You meet your friends. What do you say? What do you need to say? You don't need long or difficult sentences. You need short and easy phrases. Here are some of my favorite daily phrases. The first phrase is, "What's up?" It means, how are you or what is happening? It is very casual. You can say it to your friends or classmates. For example, if you see your friend at school, you can say, "Hey, what's up?" Your friend might say, "Not much, just tired." It is a nice way to start a conversation. The second phrase is, "I'm just kidding." Sometimes we make jokes, but the other person may not understand. So we say, "I'm just kidding." It means, I am joking. For example, you say, "You are always late." If your friend looks serious, you say, "Hey, I'm just kidding." It makes the conversation friendly. The third phrase is, "No worries." This is a nice way to say, "It's okay" or "Don't worry." If someone forgets something, you can say, "No worries. It's fine." Sounds calm and polite. The fourth phrase is, "I'm not sure." This means, I don't know. It is okay to say this when you don't know the answer. For example, if someone asks, "Do you know where Mark is?" You can say, "I'm not sure. Maybe he is at home." It is better to be honest. The fifth phrase is, "That sounds good." You say this when you like an idea. For example, your friend says, "Let's eat lunch at 2 p.m. You say, "That sounds good." It means you agree. The sixth phrase is, "I'm on my way." You say this when you are going to meet someone. If your friend asks, "Are you coming to the cafe?" You say, "Yes, I'm on my way." It is very common in messages. The seventh phrase is, "Let me think." You say this when you need time to decide or remember. For example, someone asks, "What is your favorite movie?" You say, "Let me think. Maybe it's The Lion King." The eighth phrase is, "I don't get it." If you don't understand something, you can say this. For example, if your teacher explains something difficult, you can say, "Sorry, I don't get it." It's okay to ask for help. The ninth phrase is, "That makes sense." When you understand something, say this. For example, your friend explains why she was late. You say, "Oh, that makes sense." It shows you understand. The 10th phrase is, "I'm starving." It means I'm very hungry. It is a fun way to say it. For example, if you skip breakfast, you can say, "Let's eat. I'm starving." Great. Now you know 10 important phrases. Let's move on to more useful phrases. 11th phrase, fingers crossed. We say this when we hope for good luck. For example, your friend has a test tomorrow. You say, "Good luck. Fingers crossed." 12th phrase, it's up to you. You say this when you want someone else to decide. For example, your friend asks, "Should we watch a comedy or action movie?" You say, "It's up to you." 13th phrase, you've got this. This is a phrase to encourage someone. If your friend is nervous for an exam, say, "You've got this. You can do it." 14th phrase, that's a good point. Use this to say someone said something smart. For example, in a group, your friend says something interesting. So you say, "That's a good point." 15th phrase, I'm not feeling well. This is a polite way to say you are sick. For example, if you don't want to go to work, say, "I'm not feeling well today. I need to rest." Now, let's learn some more phrases that you can use every day. 16th phrase, take your time. It means don't hurry. For example, if your friend is looking for her keys, you say, "Take your time." 17th phrase, I'm used to it. You say this when something was hard before, but now it is easy. For example, if you move to a cold city, you say, "I'm used to it now." 18th phrase, it depends. Use this when the answer can change. For example, if someone asks, "Do you like spicy food?" You say, "It depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes no." 19th phrase, that's enough. You say this when you want something to stop. For example, if children are fighting, say, "That's enough." 20th phrase, I'm broke. This means you don't have money now. For example, if your friends want to go shopping, you say, "I'm broke this month." 21st phrase, I messed up, means you made a mistake. For example, if you forget to send an email, say, "I messed up. I am sorry." 22nd phrase, it's not a big deal. You say this to make someone feel better. For example, if someone says, "Sorry, I stepped on your foot," you say, "It's not a big deal." 23rd phrase, I can't wait. Use this when you are very excited. For example, if your birthday is near, say, "I can't wait." 24th phrase, better late than never. Use this when someone is late but you are happy they came. For example, if your friend arrives late to the party, say, "Better late than never." 25th phrase, I'm all ears. This means you are ready to listen. For example, if your friend wants to tell you something, say, "I'm all ears." Wow, you are doing great. Keep going because these phrases will help you in real life. 26th phrase, long time no see. Use this when you meet someone after a long time. For example, you meet an old classmate and say, "Long time no see." 27th phrase, I'll pass. This means no thank you. For example, if someone offers spicy food and you don't want it, say, "I'll pass." 28th phrase, you made my day. Use this when someone makes you happy. For example, if a friend gives you a gift, say, "You made my day." 29th phrase, I'm in. This means I want to join. For example, if friends plan a trip, say, I'm in. 30th phrase, same here. Use this to say you feel the same. For example, if your friend says, I'm tired, you say, same here. Let's continue with more phrases you can use every day. 31st phrase, I'll give it a try. Use this when you want to try something new. For example, if someone invites you to try sushi, say, I'll give it a try. 32nd phrase, hang in there. Use this to encourage someone who is struggling. For example, if your friend is tired of studying, say, hang in there. You're almost done. 33rd phrase, you're kidding. Use this when you are surprised. For example, if your friend says, I met a movie star, say, you're kidding. 34th phrase, it's not my thing. Use this when you don't like something. For example, if someone asks if you like horror movies, say, it's not my thing. 35th phrase, it's worth it. Use this when something is hard but good. For example, after a long walk to the beach, say, it was hard but it's worth it. 36th phrase, I'll keep you posted. Use this to promise to give news later. For example, if someone asks about a package, say, I'll keep you posted. 37th phrase, speak of the devil. Use this when someone you talk about appears. For example, you say, I wonder where Sarah is, and Sarah comes. Say, speak of the devil. 38th phrase, on the same page. Use this when you agree with someone. For example, in a group project, say, are we on the same page about the plan? 39th phrase, break the ice. Use this when you start a conversation to make people comfortable. For example, tell a joke at a party to break the ice. 40th phrase, call it a day. Use this to say stop working. For example, after studying, say, let's call it a day. You are doing an amazing job. Remember to practice these phrases every day. Now let's learn more. 41st phrase, hit the sack. This means go to bed. For example, if you are tired, say, I'm going to hit the sack. 42nd phrase, cut to the chase. Use this to say, get to the main point. For example, in a meeting, say, let's cut to the chase. 43rd phrase, spill the beans. Use this to ask someone to tell a secret. For example, if you want to know about a surprise, say, come on, spill the beans. 44th phrase, under the weather. Use this to say you feel sick. For example, say, I'm feeling under the weather today. 45th phrase, the ball is in your court. Use this when it is someone's turn to act. For example, say, I did my part. Now the ball is in your court. 46th phrase, bite the bullet. Use this to say you will do something difficult. For example, I don't like the dentist, but I have to bite the bullet. 47th phrase, hit the nail on the head. Use this to say someone describes something exactly. For example, you hit the nail on the head with your idea. 48th phrase, go the extra mile. Use this when someone does more than needed. For example, thanks for going the extra mile to help me. 49th phrase, twist someone's arm. Use this to say you convinced someone. For example, I didn't want to go, but you twisted my arm. 50th phrase, cost an arm and a leg. Use this to say something is very expensive. For example, that phone costs an arm and a leg. Wow! You have learned 50 important phrases. Take a deep breath. Practice them. Use them with your friends. Remember, learning English is fun when you use it every day. Let's keep going with the next 50 phrases. Are you ready? Great. 51st phrase. Hold on a second. Use this to ask someone to wait. For example, hold on a second. I will be right back. 52nd phrase. Keep your chin up. Use this to encourage someone who is sad. For example, I know it's hard, but keep your chin up. 53rd phrase. Out of the blue. Use this when something happens suddenly. For example, out of the blue my friend called me. 54th phrase. Against the clock. Use this when you have very little time. For example, we are working against the clock to finish the project. 55th phrase. Better safe than sorry. Use this when you want to be careful. For example, take an umbrella. Better safe than sorry. 56th phrase. Just a heads up. Use this to give a quick warning. For example, just a heads up, the meeting time changed. 57th phrase. In a nutshell. Use this to say in summary. For example, in a nutshell, we need to finish the work by Friday. 58th phrase. Bend over backwards. Use this to say you try very hard to help. For example, she bent over backwards to help me move. 59th phrase. Hit the books. Use this to say you will study hard. For example, I need to hit the books tonight for my exam. 60th phrase. Piece of cake. Use this to say something is easy. For example, that test was a piece of cake. 61st phrase. Speak your mind. Use this to say what you think. For example, don't be shy. Speak your mind. 62nd phrase. Call the shots. Use this to say make decisions. For example, Sarah calls the shots in our group. 63rd phrase. On thin ice. Use this when someone is close to trouble. For example, you are on thin ice with your teacher. 64th phrase. Up in the air. Use this when something is not decided yet. For example, our plans are still up in the air. 65th phrase. Hit the road. Use this to say start a trip or leave. For example, let's hit the road. We are ready. 66th phrase. Off the hook. Use this when someone is free from a problem. For example, I was sick, so I'm off the hook for the meeting. 67th phrase. Fly off the handle. Use this when someone gets angry suddenly. For example, he flew off the handle when he lost his keys. 68th phrase. Go with the flow. Use this to say be flexible. For example, plans changed, but we will go with the flow. 69th phrase. Pull someone's leg. Use this to say joke with someone. For example, I'm just pulling your leg. 70th phrase. By the book. Use this to say follow the rules. For example, we have to do it by the book. 71st phrase. Give me a break. Use this to say that's unfair or I don't believe it. For example, give me a break. I cooked dinner 5 times this week. 72nd phrase, let's get down to business. Use this to say, let's start working. For example, okay, let's get down to business. A 73rd phrase, out of hand. Use this when something is out of control. For example, the party got out of hand. 74th phrase, play it by ear. Use this to say, decide as you go. For example, let's play it by ear. 75th phrase, take a rain check. Use this to say, postpone. For example, I'm busy. Can I take a rain check? 76th phrase, sit tight. Use this to say, wait patiently. For example, sit tight. I will be right back. 77th phrase, step up your game. Use this to say, try harder. For example, we need to step up our game. 78th phrase, take it with a grain of salt. Use this to say, don't believe everything. For example, I'll take that with a grain of salt. 79th phrase, the icing on the cake. Use this to say, extra good thing. For example, the free gift was the icing on the cake. 80th phrase, throw in the towel. Use this to say, give up. For example, I will throw in the towel and try later. 81st phrase, touch base. Use this to say, check in. For example, let's touch base tomorrow. 82nd phrase, up to speed. Use this to say, fully informed. For example, I'll bring you up to speed. 83rd phrase, water under the bridge. Use this to say, past problem. For example, that's water under the bridge. 84th phrase, wear your heart on your sleeve. Use this to say, show feelings openly. For example, she wears her heart on her sleeve. 85th phrase, the whole 9 yards. Use this to say, everything. For example, the party had the whole 9 yards. 86th phrase, you snooze, you lose. Use this to say, if you wait, you miss out. For example, buy tickets fast. You snooze, you lose. 87th phrase, zip your lip. Use this to say, be quiet. For example, zip your lip. It's a secret. 88th phrase, zero in on. Use this to say, focus on. For example, let's zero in on the main points. 89th phrase, cross that bridge when you come to it. Use this to say, don't worry now. For example, don't worry about it. Cross that bridge later. 90th phrase, a win-win situation. Use this to say, good for everyone. For example, this deal is a win-win situation. Wow! You made it to 90 phrases. You are doing amazing. Remember to practice often. Speak these phrases with your friends or in your daily life. Now let's finish with 10 more phrases. 91st phrase, see eye to eye. Use this to say agree. For example, we see eye to eye on this. 92nd phrase, back to the drawing board. Use this to say start again. For example, our plan didn't work. Back to the drawing board. 93rd phrase, birds of a feather. Use this to say people who are alike stay together. For example, those two love music. The birds of a feather. 94th phrase, blow off steam. Use this to say relax after stress. For example, I went for a run to blow off steam. 95th phrase, in the blink of an eye. Use this to say very fast. For example, the concert sold out in the blink of an eye. 96th phrase, keep an eye on. Use this to say watch carefully. For example, please keep an eye on my bag. 97th phrase, know the ropes. Use this to say know how to do something. For example, after training you'll know the ropes. 98th phrase, like clockwork. Use this to say on time always. For example, she arrives like clockwork. 99th phrase, on the fence. Use this to say undecided. For example, I'm on the fence about which movie to watch. 100th phrase, pull yourself together. Use this to say calm down. For example, take a deep breath and pull yourself together. Congratulations! You have learned 100 important English phrases today. Practice these every day. Try to use them when you speak. The more you use them, the better your English will be. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like the video and write a comment below. Tell me which phrase you like the most or if you want to learn more. I love reading your messages. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.